Welcome to episode 4 of The Woo, the Science and You. Hello, Jess.
Hello, Sophie. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about this episode, actually. I think because before Sophie tells you what we're going to talk about, we have totally different views that are also kind of on the same wavelength.
I'm not even sure because we've kind of touched. So the topic we're going to be talking about today is the menopause, which is a hot topic in the last few years. It used to be something that people didn't talk about at all. Thankfully, the stigma, I think, is going. But there's still kind of controversial aspects to it. I
think I'm bringing that aspect today, Sophie. I'm getting nervous, actually.
So my background is I'm a GP, but I have a special interest in menopause.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, I've got a video on my Dr. Sophie GP channel all about menopause and HRT for anyone who wants to watch that.
And can we also say she's also got a coaching program which always gets fully booked out. She's not mentioned that one yet.
Yes. Well, yeah. So I'm going to be carrying on my coaching program for menopause. So,
and she's amazing, by the way, FYI.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how belief coding and menopause works together?
So this is I feel nervous now. But I'm going to stand in my authentic voice and just speak. So with belief coding, we work very much with subconscious programming. Now, with subconscious programming, that's essentially your identity. So whatever we identify as having, or go for your face, I've just seen it change.
Oh no, what have I done?
Whatever we identify with, we'll always search for evidence. We'll always search for evidence to bring more of the thing that we believe onto us, including symptoms. Now,
like a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, 100% that.
Yeah.
So again, when we have ladies that have really struggled with the menopause from depression, anxiety, hot sweats, having to just really badly. Anyway, as I digress. So when we were, okay, I'm so nervous talking about this. I don't even know what your views are on this. So this is when we talk about controversial subjects and we bring it in.
This is why it's interesting that the woo and the science are coming together.
Yeah.
And even if we disagree, that's also okay.
Yeah, I love you. Just know that I love you so much.
Whatever you
Promise
say.
you'll always be my friend. But from what I've experienced in the belief coding community, from women that have worked with their menopause symptoms, a lot of them have been able to come off HRT, not HRT. I've come off HRT, and one lady, which it just blows my mind, is one of, she's actually become quite a good friend, a lady called Angie Craven. She was suicidal with symptoms of menopause, with anxiety, with everything. And every symptom that she worked on to do with the menopause took her back to a past negative experience, which created a safety mechanism, which then produced the symptoms. So again, if we look at that, if we look at when we're in a stressful situation, it produces like cortisol. And actually, can I share a story to do with my own periods? Which this blew my mind.
I mean, we're all about TMI.
Yeah.
Come on, share away.
So I'll finish the story about Angie anyway. So now
By the way, is Angie fine about you giving her name and details?
She is. Yeah, she's fine. She's totally open about her experiences and everything that she speaks about. Right. But Angie's not the minority of people who've worked on symptoms. Now, one thing we've realised, and when we've had discussions at the training about the ladies that when they identified as having the menopause, their symptoms came on thick and fast. Now, we know that everyone goes through the menopause. I'm not denying that, so please don't think I am. However, the 67 connected symptoms to the menopause, I believe. Quote me if I'm wrong.
I haven't numbered them, but there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
So we do an exercise in training where we get the ladies to, and we do the same with ADHD. And again, I'm not saying that ADHD doesn't exist, but what I am saying is there's a lot of symptoms that when you work with each symptom, when we've looked at it, it always goes back to an experience that created a protective mechanism on a subconscious level that has enabled a symptom. And then again, with ADHD, with menopause, when they've worked in each symptom, the symptoms have either reduced or just gone. They no longer identify as having ADHD or going through or having menopause symptoms, even though they're going through the menopause.
Well, interestingly, the NHS, in the NICE guidance, one of the top things we're meant to be recommending is CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So a lot of people are like, why are we recommending CBT for menopause?
Total sense.
Because a lot of people are like, well, you know, what women don't want to be told is it's all in your mind. Get on with it. You know?
And I think that's one thing, it's definitely not in your mind because your body is producing symptoms which are real. Like, you know, that when you get hot sweats, you know, that's a real symptom. When you have anxiety, that is a real symptom. However, when we've worked on the menopause and we've worked on each symptom, it always goes back to a past experience and then it alleviates the symptom, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
And then going into myself, so I used to suffer really bad with, oh my God, I forgot what it's bloody called. Do you, like really, what the hell is it called? My brain has gone blank. When it's not post-traumatic stress disorder, although the week
PMT.
PMT, thank you, PMT. I used to suffer really, really bad with PMT.
PMS, yeah.
Literally the week before my period, I would be all over the place. I'd be really angry, really stressed, really frustrated. You know, I'd reference myself as like the angry dragon because that's literally what I felt like. And then it took me back. I don't know if I've shared this story with you before, actually.
No.
But when I've done a belief coding session, working on each symptom, the biggest thing it went back to was when I was about 13, 14 years old, I found my mum's tampons. And back then, you know, when you first start your period, you use sanitary pads. And I just did not like it. And I found these tampons in my mum's drawer. I was like, I'm going to try one of these. And I was like, wow, it's like I'm not even on my period. This is great. And then I asked my mum to buy me some tampons. My God, I hope Joy does not listen to this. And she went, you do not wear tampons. Those are the people that are having sex. Oh God, no. And I was absolutely mortified, right? But I knew I wanted to wear these tampons because they just felt like I wasn't on my period.
Yeah.
So this is where the PMT came from. What would happen when I knew I was doing my period, the stress would start to build up in my body. Then I'd start to get frustrated. Then I'd get angry. I'd remember that I'd have to go down to like Morrison's before school. Sometimes I'd end up stealing these tampons because I was so embarrassed.
Don't go arrest her now.
No, I'm joking. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It's okay. It's over 7 years. And I always tip. And literally, like, I'd just get so stressed. It was just horrific. And then when I'd pay for the tampons, you know, I'd be thinking, oh my God, the cashier thinks I'm this like dirty slag, that I'm sleeping with everybody, I'm in my school uniform. So it cultivated all this stress. So as soon as I worked on those experiences and reframed them, I'm no longer like that. Like because nothing is triggering the hormonal response in my body.
That is really interesting. There's something called PMDD now as well, which is like a kind of extreme version of kind of premenstrual syndrome, which a lot of people don't know about. And actually, some women are really going through this really, really difficult time affecting their jobs, their relationships, and almost just having the acknowledgement that there is this thing and actually we can help manage it. And I'm sure belief coding would also be useful, but if you don't want to do that, you're getting to know it well now, Sophie. We'll give you some drugs. But yeah, so I guess women and our hormonal fluctuations, you know, this is what disrupts us during the menopause. So essentially, just to kind of give the very basics from the kind of physiological point of view. So our estrogen levels drop dramatically during what's called the perimenopause. Yeah. So the menopause itself is actually just one day, which we count as 12 months since you had your last period.
Well, say it again. So
the menopause itself is just one day. And that is 12 months since you had your last period.
Okay, so when you've not had a period for 12 months, then officially your class has been in menopause. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and then you're postmenopausal. So before that, maybe for some people it could be like 10 years, you can be perimenopausal. So you can have the symptoms of the perimenopause, but still having periods. Often the periods become irregular. They can become heavier. And then women don't even, like you're saying about how many symptoms there are, because there can such be random things that people haven't even thought about. So I, as a doctor, have to be really alert, because it's not always that women are coming in saying, I think I'm going through the menopause. Yeah. Often they're coming in going, oh, I'm so irritable and anxious. I want to kill my husband every day. And
I've got an interesting fact following on from that. Remind me to tell you about it.
And I'm putting on weight and my hair is dry and I'm getting really forgetful. I just don't feel like me anymore. Or they might have like tinnitus, or they might have an irregular heart rate. All these things, because estrogen affects every cell in our body. So when you are losing those levels of estrogen, it can be that this affects pretty much everything we do. You know, dry vagina, you can have pain on sex. People don't often want to talk about that, so I often ask. And then people are like, actually, yeah. And, you know, that's important.
I hope you're not watching on YouTube.
Well, you can get lubricants. Estrogen, I'm a big fan of estrogen gel.
So where'd you put estrogen gel? Like, would you put that on your vagina? Yeah,
so you can get it's called topical estrogen gel. Wow. So I think most women for the rest of their lives, once they start being perimenopausal, should probably use estrogen gel. You don't always need it if you're using HRT, because it also not only the dryness and the discomfort and the pain on sex, but it also increases your risk of getting urine infections.
Wow.
And it's just rubbish, right? Who wants a dry
vagina that hurts when you wee? Isn't that mean?
Here we are with our
I know
TMI
that
again.
rhymed. I'm a poet. I didn't know.
Oh, it's always rhyming.
Do you want to do that? I know. Oh, it's rhyming. Again, I don't know what you're going to think about this. So, a really good friend of mine, she has, because I know what you feel about supplements, but she does actually have an amazing supplement brand. It's called El Sarah. And she was saying that actually, you know, we do get dryness. I don't know if I'm laughing. Clearly needs to do some belief going around being embarrassed about talking about vaginas. But she does, she has this supplement. And what she says is, you know, we do have that because of the drop of estrogen, but actually from certain foods and certain supplements, you don't have to have dryness. And actually, I remember she's recorded a podcast, which I remember listening to. Again, great with stories, crap with facts. But it really intrigued me and interested me because actually what she was saying was, you know, we don't actually have to have that dryness throughout our life. Now, again, you can't officially quote me on this because I don't know the facts. I don't know the stats behind it. I don't know the science.
That's why I'm here.
You are, yeah.
Hello.
She would actually be a good person to get on the podcast, you know.
I feel we may disagree.
Oh, really? Okay.
There is not great evidence for alternatives for HRT. So you can, for example, you mentioned food. So a lot of people want to increase the amount of soy they're having in their diet. Soy does help increase estrogen levels. And it's thought that people, for example, kind of in Asia who eat a lot of soy have less menopausal symptoms. But we don't know if that's just that they don't admit to having as many menopausal symptoms. There isn't any good evidence to suggest that makes a difference.
Okay.
People are welcome to kind of eat a bit more soy, but there's just not great evidence in any kind of supplement. People try like black cohosh, other things, but that if you really want to get on top of your HRT
vaginal health
and your vaginal health, then I would recommend. I'm a big fan of HRT. Yeah. And people worry about it. People think it's not natural. Actually, the kind of HRT we use now is made from yams.
I don't know what yams are.
Yam, you know, like a vegetable.
Oh, right. No, yeah, I did not know that. Yeah.
So if you're worried about the kind of the natural point of view, then it is pretty natural. Yeah. And I love doing menopause as a doctor because it makes such a difference to women.
I think I'm going to ask Angie if she's got a dry vagina. I'm like, because she doesn't do HRT. Angie, if you're listening.
Well, do you know, not everyone needs it or wants it, which is totally fine as well. Like, I wouldn't want to push it on anyone. So some people are like, I'm not really having any symptoms, I'm fine. Yeah. In which case, great.
Yeah.
You go, girl. And a lot of people are like, actually, I've suffered with awful periods my whole life and I feel free. Wow. So a lot of women really feel like enlivened by it.
Wow.
So, you know,
what is it? So again, because I'm not perimenopausal or menopausal. I read somewhere about testosterone. Like, do people use testosterone when they're going through the what?
Yeah, so your testosterone also drops.
Okay.
So women do have testosterone.
Yeah.
And so not all GPs do prescribe it. I do because I have an interest in it. Yeah. And so you have to make sure you are fully estrogenized. So that means you have to have already been on HRT and got rid of kind of your hot sweats and things like that. And in the UK, the use of testosterone is only licensed for helping with libido. Because that's what the evidence is for. Okay. We do find anecdotally that women definitely say it helps with their cognition, their memory. They lose that kind of brain fog. Yeah. They feel just more focused, more able to get on with tasks, but they're also horny as hell.
Do you know what's really interesting, right? So I'm going to go the spiritual now. So from a spiritual perspective, when you mentioned about testosterone, so we have feminine and masculine energy as well, right? So obviously if you look at it from a chemical perspective, like testosterone is obviously masculine, or like perceived as masculine, and estrogen perceived as feminine, right? But from an energy perspective, when you're in your masculine energy, you're more focused, you're more clear, you're more driven. So it's I've just had a realization that actually your masculine energy as well as your masculine chemicals, they kind of do the same job. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So it links with the testosterone being,
Well, yeah, because again, I suppose when you're in your masculine energy, it would I would imagine that you have more testosterone being released in your body. When you're feminine energy, I would imagine that you have more estrogen being released in your body.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And libido is a big deal, but it's not a magic pill. So often, you know, if you've got relationship issues and whatever else is going on, or you're just not attracted to, then it's not going to be magic.
Well, do you know what, just going on from that, so one of my mentors, a great guy called Craig, he did a study and a lot of men and women the highest divorce rate is 44. But if you look deeper into that makes total sense because actually women go through the menopause, you know, men don't really understand how to help their wives. They just think, what is going on with my wife here? Yeah. And actually that makes sense, doesn't it? Why there's so much, why the divorce rate is much higher at that age.
Yeah, I always talk about that. And when I do menopause training, I encourage men to come along. because their mums,
Do
their
they come
sisters,
along?
their partners, sometimes, but not usually.
Yeah.
You know, they will know people who, you know, all 100% of women are going to go through the menopause.
Yeah.
And so 100% of men are going to know women who are going to be going through the menopause. And like you say, it is a big issue that people don't understand. And I think if everyone understood better, and that's why it's really good that we are talking about it much more, it's much more out in the open. You know, celebrities have done a good job of kind of bringing it to the forefront. A lot of, I do some talks now with companies who are trying to, you know, there's a lot of people understanding now that they need to be flexible around what can they do to improve the work well-being of their staff who are menopausal.
Do you know, again, kind of just talking about that. So do you know, for every pound, this was a report done by Deloitte, every pound that's spent on well-being brings the company £5 back in revenue.
Yeah. And menopause especially, actually, because there's some really interesting stats about how many menopausal women cut down their hours, don't go for promotions, or leave work entirely because they're struggling with the menopause symptoms, you know, sleep being a huge one. And then the loss of that for those companies in terms of that experience, that because often women in their kind of, for example, mid-40s, late 40s, early 50s, we're often at the top of our game. I mean, I'm 44, I'm going to talk about it. I'm at the top of my game.
You know, are at the top of your game.
You've had the experience, you've got the confidence, you've got the self-esteem, and then you are an asset to that company on so many levels, not only as a kind of for your younger peers. So if they lose you, then that is a disaster. So companies are realizing now, what can we do to help these women stay on track and keep working for us and keep acing it? So we can do. And I think, whatever works for you. And so we must always remember that the first things we should be focusing on is lifestyle factors. Because in the same way that belief coding works, there are things you can do to help beyond just medication.
Yeah.
It is all kind of the boring, healthy stuff. So
I don't think the healthy stuff is boring. I love the healthy stuff.
I feel like I'm always saying to people,
no,
you've got to eat really well, you've got to stop smoking, cut down your alcohol,
but this
do
is
some exercise.
Like, if you think about it, for so many years, a lot of people haven't even realised that food is connected to health. Like, people don't realise that. And I think it makes total sense. Like, there's only 5% of foods in a supermarket that are whole foods. Everything else, and because there's such small margins in food, so they have to stock lots of stuff. Whereas literally the food that we put in our body, it feeds our cells. It feeds everything. So I actually think it's really, I don't think healthy food is a boring subject. And I think the more we can sort of share what we know, again, it inspires people. And also, you know yourself, like, when you eat crap, you feel crap. Like, bloody hell, polished off a tub of Ben and Jerry's and sacked off the gym, and I was like, why have I done that to myself? And I felt anxious, I felt like really stodgy. Whereas this morning I had a smoothie bowl for breakfast. I was like, oh, I'm so healthy. It's 12 hours apart. Do you know what I mean? But my mentality was different. My mentality was like vibrant and fresh. Whereas last night I was like, oh my God, hello, my belly was talking to me.
I think sleep is a huge issue because if you're not sleeping well because you're having hot flushes or because you've got pain anywhere, whatever else, then that affects. We know that people eat on average 300 more calories a day if they're tired. If you're only getting 5 hours a day, you're something like, I can't remember, it's something like 50% more likely to become obese. Like, and you just can't be bothered. You lose your motivation. So I think a lot of women are like, yeah, great, I'd love to go to the gym and eat well, but I'm too tired. So it is a cycle. Food, it's a bit like, let's get on top of sleep and then do little tiny bits. What can we do to improve your ability to exercise? And it doesn't have to be going to the gym. It could be just walking or a bit of yoga or whatever, because also stress relieving is going to help with the menopause too.
Oh, do you know what, talking about that, and not the menopause or stress relieving, but walking. So do you know when usually you walk your dog? Walking your dog is supposed to be a lovely experience, isn't it? Oh my gosh, my dog walking has not been a lovely experience. Walter the puppy's like, arr, arr. So every time I think I'm going to go de-stress and walk the dog, this is more stressful. Any advice on that?
Oh yeah, so Jess got 5 kids and had a fairly new dog. And then decided...
Maggie the puppy. Lovely.
Maggie the puppy. How old is she?
She's 7 months.
And so you were like, my life is too easy. I need another puppy.
Walter, like, he's so cute, but he's literally like having another baby. But I feel like my walking used to be, because I like getting my 10,000 steps, sometimes 15,000 steps in a day. And my walking was the thing that I absolutely love to do. And I get all my best ideas, my creativity. I feel like I'm in flow. And then I'm like, I'm going to take the dogs out for a walk. And then it's like this for 45 minutes. Like, oh, and then not only that, he's
if
really
anyone
strong.
just joined us at that point, they're going to be like, what's this
going on?
podcast?
And he pulls me too. So doing like, you've got the like this overload of sensors. I'm like, we can't help me.
So not so much the stress relief.
So let's hope Walter's grown out of that by the time I go through the menopause.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm also not perimenopausal yet, but it's going to be coming soon for me. So I'm prepped and ready.
But again, actually going into that, so if you think, right, you're 44, but actually you eat well, you exercise, you look after your body, you're you're conscious of your well-being, you're conscious of what you put into your body. That makes total sense.
Yeah,
because your body doesn't have to do a lot of work to break down the food that you're eating, because you eat whole.
Yeah.
You look after your body.
Yeah. But then I wouldn't want to blame anyone, because it's certainly
No,
like,
sorry.
yeah, no, I know you weren't meaning
Yeah.
that. But if anyone's watching thinking I do all that and I still got it, but it's a bit of luck as well. It's
Oh,
just
do
a
you
bit of luck.
think?
Yeah, some people just manage, some people just fly through.
See, my mum went through the menopause when she was 38.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm like, am I going through it?
well, it's often something we look at and say how, yeah,
Well, my sister's 42 and she's not gone through it, and I don't feel like I have any symptoms.
yeah. But at least you'll know what to look out for.
Yeah.
And yeah, I shall be.
What's the name of that lubricant again?
Oh, I will just say for HRT, if anyone's interested, well, you can watch the video I've done on it. But the safest form of HRT is to either have the patch, the gel, or the spray for the estrogen. And then if you have a womb, then you need to have progesterone to protect your womb. Wow. The safest is either the Mirena coil or to take a drug such as utrogestan.
Is there anything, and again, because I've not looked into this, so I genuinely don't know, but is there anything for anybody who didn't want to take it? Because for me, and again, you'd probably disagree with this, but I can't ever imagine myself going on HRT. And again, that may change when I have more knowledge on it. I just can't, I don't really use, like, this is why I don't like wearing fake tan. I wear it now and again, but I'm really aware of the stuff that I put in my body has got to go through my system. My liver's got to.
All you're doing is topping up the levels that you used to have.
I know,
so you're just replacing, that's why it's hormone replacement.
Yeah.
Then. You're kind of, you
Maybe
had this and now your body's lost it. Because some people think it's because, if you look in human biology, we're there to procreate, to produce more babies. And when you're too old,
you don't need it, it goes.
And when we were hunter-gatherers and things, we probably died off.
Yeah.
So we're probably not meant to live as long as we are now.
But is there anything, so say for example, there's any of the listeners that are listening that are similar to me, is there anything that you know of that can help with that? And again, I think just going back to from some of the women in the community who aren't on it at the moment, or they've come off it, from sort of like a nutritional perspective or anything like that, could you recommend anything? And again, I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, and some women who've had breast cancer can't have HRT. So there are some women it's just not right for them, which is fine, or it's not safe for them.
Yeah.
Most people it is safe if they want to try it, but if you've had breast cancer, then it's usually a no. In some of those women, it's still safe to use the topical vaginal estrogen.
Yeah, but what about so do you know kind of from more kind of a nutritional perspective?
Yeah. So the soy food.
Yeah.
Would be one thing that you could certainly focus on. Try and increase that. And all the lifestyle measures. I mean, you're certainly welcome to try the alternatives, the supplements and things. Some people find them helpful. Yeah. You can also, for hot flushes, the NICE, which is our kind of guidelines, does recommend that people can try antidepressants, but I guess you probably wouldn't want to do that either.
You know me well, so yeah.
So I would say focus on the lifestyle.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? This is actually, I think this has probably been one of my favourite podcasts to do, because I actually feel like, and again, hopefully you feel the same, but I feel that it's been a really, I think from my audience and your audience, I think they'll both have mixed views, but I think we've actually talked about it in a really nice way, because at the end of the day, it all goes down to personal choice, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And I think that's what we both want. We want to, just personal choice and empower people to have personal choice.
One thing I'm really keen on is,
I feel really nervous again now. I'm like, I don't know.
One thing I was really keen on doing, which is why I did my video and do the menopause course, is because I want to make sure women are informed.
Yeah.
So that they're not, because I think there's so much fear around, for example, HRT.
Yeah.
Which a lot of it is unfounded, actually. Yeah. So I think once women are informed of the options, then great, they can make the decision what's right for them. But if it's just based on incorrect fear,
I think mine. So for me, I actually don't know why. There's no real reason why not to take it, but just again, I would say I'm quite. I'm more, I don't know. I would say it's more. I don't even know what it is. It's just like don't.
It's quite funny actually, because I don't take any medication. I've had antibiotics once in my life. I don't really take anything, paracetamol, ibuprofen. I mean, I'm not like totally against, but I'm just not someone who takes anything.
Why? This is genuinely. This is like, because that's why?
Similar. I just don't want to put. I mean, I'm not afraid of like paracetamol, but I tend not to struggle with pain too much. But I don't want antibiotics unless I need them. But I haven't had to need them. Antibiotics are just just store your gut bacteria and things like that. Don't be too, you know, if you need them, but don't overuse them if you don't need them.
Is it true if you have antibiotics, then it's really good to have a good probiotic afterwards?
Well, there's not. Well, you might as well give it a whirl, but there's no good evidence it's going to make much difference.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm the same actually. I've not.
But I would say if I did have to go on antibiotics, I would definitely be working on my gut bacteria more than ever. Wow. I mean, I do feed my gut bacteria.
Do you? What do you feed it? I mean, we're going totally over now. Like
we are going over.
Yeah, this is great.
I've also got a video on this actually on my Dr. Sophie GP. If anyone wants to learn more about gut health. So I think, in fact, I say to the kids because they often say. I thought I'd have children who were marvellous eaters because even when I was like pregnant breastfeeding, I was like, I'm going to eat a range of foods so they have all these tastes and nutrition, and I breastfed and I did all the right things, and all they want is beige processed food. Anyway, so I say to them, listen, you've got your gut microbiome, and we named it Bob, Ted and Mary. I said, you don't like the broccoli, but Bob likes broccoli. Yeah. Mary likes the carrots.
Yeah, I like
and
this.
Ted really, likes the brown rice or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I say to them, you've got to feed it. You've got to feed Bob, Ted and Mary. Because essentially that's correct. Yeah. They are living in us. But not part of us, but kind of a separate, separate identity. Yeah. So you have to look after them. So they essentially like a lot of fibre.
Yeah.
So, and lots of different coloured fruits and vegetables. Yeah. So if you can try and make sure you're not eating the same thing every time. Yeah. And like I have porridge. Well, I mean, I do have porridge every day. But I put loads of nuts and seeds and different flax seeds or, things like that. And then thinking about having kefir. Or kombucha, or all that stuff is going to be keeping your bugs happy.
Yeah, I think I need to. So we quite well. Actually, I think my kids hate me. I'll be honest. So that you're eating that I don't care. And I was telling Sophie actually. So Poppy used to love going to a KFC with her pals, and then I was like, oh gosh, she's going every bloody weekend now. And again, like I'm not against KFC, although like became an unhealthy habit for her. So I sent her a picture. I don't know if I should share.
Go on, share. She's got the giggles.
Basically, if anyone's like me and the kids eating too much KFC, I would strongly recommend doing this. I basically sent it. Do you when you see like pictures on Instagram of like, look what I found in my KFC?
Yeah.
It was like some sort of crazy dead chicken intestine. I was like, brilliant, that will do. Screenshot it. I was like, Pops, just wants to let you know that this is what was found in KFC. Enjoy. She hasn't had a KFC since.
Oh, you see, I tried to do something similar.
Okay, I feel better now.
I did something similar with Betsy once, years ago when we were at like a play gym. And she was like, can I have a hot dog? And I mean, I don't eat meat anyway, but they eat meat. But I was like, don't have a hot dog, babe, here. It'll be nasty, cheap meat. She was like, yeah, I want a hot dog. I was like, listen, it'll be like, the bits, they'll made all the nice, they've taken the steaks, they've taken the whatever, and all the food, all the meat that's left over on the floor, they'll scoop it up, the skin, it'll have like the sphincters in there, it'll have the eyeballs in there, and they'll mush it together and make it a hot dog. Do you still want one? She was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, would you know what, again, there's what did I see? I saw another Instagram post, but Pops don't eat hot dogs. But on this hot dog, it zoomed in on a microscope and it showed like all of the bits of plastic that was in there, all of, like just everything.
Ooh, microplastic.
Yeah, microplastic. But again, going back to it, I think this is the thing as well. Like,
but do your kids eat well then?
Yeah, they do it really
well.
well.
You can't even talk to me then.
But no, to be fair though, when I was younger, so again, when I first had Pops, I was only 24. So for a good sort of 2-3 years, and then I became a single mum, we didn't really eat well at all, in the sense of, because I didn't know like better, and you know what you know, and so you know better, then you always try and do better when you know better. So like literally they'd have they lived on beans and toast, like sausages, chicken nuggets, the most foods what a lot of people eat. And then when I started to understand a little bit more about food and how it was actually affecting them, I started to change the diets. And it was like even things like we used to have we still have midnight feast now actually, but when we used to have them, oh my God, the numbers.
You have family midnight feasts?
Yeah.
I thought you go to bed at like 9.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not midnight. So it's like, do you know when it's New Year's
crazy.
Eve? When it's New Year's Eve and you pretend
Is it like a 7 p.m. feast? Is this what you're saying?
Same as New Year's Eve when you're like, oh, it's midnight. It's like 9 p.m. You're like, yeah, okay, got the real midnight. But again, I think that's the thing. And I think one thing for me, for anyone who's listening, I just think it's good to know like what you put in your body, and there's no judgment there. It's just like, and even now that, we do, like we have the odd pizza and stuff like that, or, get the odd takeaway. It's the 80-20 rule. To be fair, actually, Joanne, when I became a vegan for like 4 years, well, a fake vegan, I went ridiculously OTT on like the organic food, the healthy eating, to a point where it would create more stress. And again, I was thinking, well, hang on a minute. I'm becoming obsessed with eating all of this food, but it's making me feel stressed. So that's actually worse for my body than than just eating like
that's
the 80-20
a real problem,
rule.
and that's why I'm not a big fan of like this is like we're totally going off a tangent now.
Yeah.
You know, like non-diabetics wearing the CGMs, the continuous glucose monitors, to see their blood sugar spikes.
Oh, is that like the I've seen that? Is that when you see the is it the Emma app or something? Or
Zoe
is
one of them. I mean, the blood sugar spikes are completely normal. If you're non-diabetic, you just don't need to worry about it. It's like saying when I run up a hill, my heart rate goes up. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And it is not a problem.
Yeah.
The only problem is if your blood sugar stays high all the time. But
also,
when you're having spikes that go up and come down. But what it does, it creates fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
But also it pushes people in the wrong direction. Like somebody wrote on Twitter like, oh, I discovered that blueberries really spike my sugar, but birthday cake didn't. So yay for my birthday cake. And I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah. This is terrible. So I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, I could go on about that.
Oh, do you think we should do? I tell you what, let us know in the comments actually if you'd like us to do.
Let us know. Do you want
to?
to? I mean, I guess food and nutrition.
Oh,
we're kind of touching on now.
Yeah.
I
love food and nutrition.
I love food and nutrition. So yeah, let us know. Should we do an episode on that? Tell us what you think.
Oh, and actually, we could bring in the spiritual element as well as the.
Well, we should.
Yeah.
We should.
Okay, let us know in the comments.
Okay. Right, perfect. All right, and then should we finish off by talking about some little...
Oh, a little... Right, so Sophie has this most amazing gadget. I went into... Well, you've got two amazing gadgets.
I've got two.
Right, I think if Paul can get a close-in on Sophie's eyes, she has the most
prepped him for
amazing,
this.
beautiful eyes. And I was like, man, I want eyes. Whereas I've got like one round eye and one oval eye. No, I'm being serious. Like sometimes...
Yeah, I know, that's why we called you one round eye.
Two wonky edges. But when I've looked at my, like sometimes
we don't really.
I've seen the comments. But when I've looked at myself on video, I'm like, what is going on with my eyes? Like one eye's like this and one eye's like this. And I was like, I need some nice like eyes like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I am a huge fan.
Oh, you do know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I call you what I mean. No, so I am a big fan of eyelashes. I always used to hate my tiny eyes. I've grown to not worry
You've got
about it so
beautiful
much.
eyes.
Thank you so much. Well, I found that mascara helps kind of open up my eyes. So for me, I've always been like obsessed with wanting longer eyelashes. And nowadays, we're flooded with options. In fact, I'm going to do another shout out to so I've got two YouTube channels, Dr. Sophie GP for all your doctor stuff, and then Dr. Sophie Lifestyle for your kind of health, beauty, wellness
it's amazing.
stuff.
Dr. Sophie Lifestyle is amazing. It's such a fun channel. It's really informative.
Yes, and I've done one about eyelash serum side effects, which is defo worth a watch. And
I use eyelash serum.
I do as well, but if you watch it, I include a photo of my own eyelashes there, which is pretty shocking.
I'm not
going to say that too much because I want people to go away and watch
it. Put the link below. Right, we're going to put the link below so you can watch it.
And I've also done a video, which I haven't quite sent out yet, but I'm editing it, all about the ways I like to get my eyelashes long. So I was going to share two of my best top tips with you today. Oh, but did you want to show my actual eyelashes?
Yeah.
Or should I talk about this one first? Oh, well, I'll talk about this one first. So yeah, when you arrived, do you want to say what?
Well, yeah, so basically like Sophie's got a makeup bag in the toilet. Like, she's got these cool gadgets. And like I put my mascara and I was like, oh, Sophie, can I borrow your eyelash curlers? And she's like, oh, no, they're not them. And then she went, why? And then she went, why don't you use my heated eyelash roller? I was like, what? It was amazing. It literally felt like my little eyelashes were having a happy snooze time, and then they woke up and they were bright and white.
I love the fact that it's like my gadget from the future.
Yeah, it felt like that.
Eyelash.
And now I'm gonna get
it's
pots on
from
this for
Amazon.
birthday.
It was very cheap, and it is. So it's rechargeable, and then you just press a button. And it takes maybe 20 seconds to heat up, and then you put it on after your mascara. And then you just hold it at the base of your lashes. And it essentially is like an eyelash lift.
Yeah.
You know, when people go and pay for
You can tell.
LDL
Like
or
literally,
whatever.
like it totally lifted totally lifted them up.
Yeah, it also feels quite nice, doesn't it?
It does. It's literally like they're having a nice little nap and then they literally wake up.
Yeah, and so it stays like that. So that is a great simple gadget to keep in your makeup bag.
And also, I think if anyone's got teenage daughters, I'm definitely getting that for Pops, her birthday.
Betsy does steal this one from me, so
Does
maybe I
she?
should get one for her.
Yeah. Also, it's funny, isn't it? Our girls love eyelashes, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now the fashion is for the crazy big eyelashes, which I'm not a massive fan of.
Well, when they came back from netball practice, I was like, whoa! Could you just take off with those on your eyes?
Yeah, like elephants with long eyelashes. Yeah. So the other thing I was going to talk about, also from Amazon, we should be sponsored by Amazon, man.
Yeah.
Is another eyelash gadget. So I am wearing now. So this is magnetic eyelash pack. This again, I'm just such a cheapskate. This was, I don't know, 10 quid or something. And it looks quite sweet. It's got a little layered tub thing. And
Wow.
I don't know if anyone can see. So it's got 3 layers. These are long eyelashes. I don't wear the big long ones. So it's got kind of 2 pots along. And then it's got small ones in the bottom. And so they're magnetic. So I'm wearing them now. So these ones are only half eyelashes because I quite like that cat's eye look.
Yeah.
So you put, there's a kind of a top and the bottom. And you pop them on this, which does look like a traditional eyelash curler. And then you just click them on and they kind of magnetize the top and the bottom onto your eyelashes. And then they just stay all day. And then you just pull them off, easy peasy, and then you reuse them. I've had them ages. I keep reusing them. So they're just, you can't feel that you're wearing them.
Do you put mascara? So do you put mascara on
first,
then you put them on?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you always got really pretty eyes.
Thank you very much. Well, it's slightly fake.
Bloody your eyelash, let me go.
I mean, I also use eyelash serum, so my eyelashes are a bit longer. But yeah, because I used to use. Well, I've never really liked the glue eyelashes. I always found that a bit fiddly.
And they always used to come off. Like I remember being out at club and I'd be like, oh, it's on my tash
if they come off, it's a nightmare. I use the magnetic eyeliner ones, but sometimes the eyeliner would come off and then would come off. So these ones I find the best.
Yeah,
so that's my top beauty tip today.
Oh, I like it. I'm going to be flying away, eating clean.
Yeah. And did you want to tell us, you were excited to tell me about your toothbrush and I said, don't tell me now, Jess.
Yeah.
Talk about it on the podcast.
I need to talk about it. Like, it's like a bittersweet thing. So basically I ordered this toothbrush.
Why is it bittersweet?
So my toothbrush, like I love an electric, like sonic toothbrush. Do you know, like that has
me too.
Yeah. And you feel like really clean anyway. I couldn't find the charger for mine. I've had it for about 2 years now. And I was like, I'm just going to treat myself to a new one. And then there was one again on Amazon. It was like 150 quid. I was like, oh my God, I'm not spending that. And then I'm a total consumer. I got both. I was like, wow, sparkly teeth. So I ordered it and then it came and it had the bloody European plug. So it worked for like 3 days. And then I'm putting it on. But honestly, my teeth have never felt so clean. And literally because it's like, the stains lets you go. Like after brushing them the first time, they were noticeably whiter.
Wow.
Like
Well, I did say to you today, I was like, your teeth.
Yeah, and I've had 2 coffees today.
I drink about 75,000 cups of tea, so that doesn't help me.
No, but now the charger's gone, so I'm gonna have to order another charger, which is the UK
fairy
one.
teeth in the meantime.
Yeah. Or like, do you know it's still got like a little bit of charge? It's like, so I'm like, I keep pressing the button like to get like that vibration. Like,
right. Okay. So our takeaways. Today.
Well, do you know what, actually? I think we've actually shared lots of good stuff, like your coaching, toothbrushes. We'll put everything below in the comments so you can check everything out. I think this is definitely one of my favourite podcasts to do. I feel like it's been like sweetly controversial. Do you get me?
And actually, we didn't disagree, I don't think.
No.
So that's good. And it's just nice that there's options. So I think it's great to highlight the menopause and that there's options for women to get help if they want.
Amazing. Okay, we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
And share.
Yeah, and rate us 5 star. Yeah. Bye.